Welcome back to your morning cup of coffee. I'm your host, Andy Domzalski, and somewhere on the screen is my very ugly pedophile host, Kent Petrus.
I trimmed the mustache today. But thank you very much for my left-handed man, COVID survivor friend, brother from another mother, Andy Domzalski. But with that being said, we are very excited to have our second Not Sunday Fun Day guest, a brother from another mother. I've lived with him for a year. I'm going to live with him for 7 more weeks. We've had our ups, we had our downs. The one and only Breakup King, TJ Swartniak.
How's it going, guys? TJ Swartniak. Here I'm the Breakup King. Went through too many breakups in my life. So what do you guys want to talk about today?
I guess breakups.
So, yeah.
Breakups.
The Breakup
Talk about
King,
love a little
you can
bit.
go as much, you can spill the beans as much or as little as you want. The do's and the don'ts, getting in the weeds of it or just getting an aerial view as much as you want. Just, go
rogue. Let's start with blonde or brunettes.
Ooh, I'm a brunette
guy. I would say so myself too.
Yeah.
I think he's a redhead guy.
Kent, I think that'd be you.
Okay, let's slow the roll there. I've had a fair share of gingers. I lost my virginity to a blonde. I'm up in the air, guys. I'm a big question mark when you see my name up there. Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
Take what you can get. Absolutely. Well, yeah. Take us through do's and don'ts. Any highlights of a breakup?
I don't think there are.
What to do after?
Yeah, there are good learning experiences from a breakup, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in about 3 or 4 relationships. All of them were ended by the partner, not me.
Class.
So yeah,
Class.
it's never been my choice. They always come up and just say it's not you, it's me, and end up just ghosting me or doing friends with benefits, and it just ends poorly. But I guess
go ahead.
I guess what we could talk about is what to do after that breakup as a man.
That's what I was going to bring up. Mm-hmm. It could be difficult for some people more than others, depending on the severity of the outcome of everything.
I think the length of the relationship too. Like the longer it is.
Yeah.
It
depends.
Yeah.
It depends how people handle it.
What's
really.
your go-to?
Well, in years past, it would be the crying in my room, not bettering myself, let's be honest, wishing for her to come back, playing in these imaginary scenarios in my head where she would come back and we would all work it out, but that's not the case. So what I started doing is reading books, bettering myself.
Right now.
My go-to book,
I know.
Can't Hurt Me.
Yeah.
Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. It really helps you defy odds and conquer your mind. You can't let your mind control you. Yeah. You have to control your mind.
We're figuring out a lot about Kent and his unoriginality. He's been telling our friend group about all those books, making it sound like he was the one that started that. So good to know.
Hey, we could argue who started reading which book first. But I think TJ and I, if you don't know, we're roommates. We're roommates right now, and we lived with each other freshman year, and now it's the sophomore year living with each other. And then we're cutting right down the middle.
Oh, wow.
And we're
a breakup,
ways.
A relationship breakup.
Another breakup.
A breakup on the podcast.
It's a very common theme.
They
broke up. Yeah, we're going our separate ways for next year, but it's no big deal. I know a lot of people who like making bigger deals than it actually is, asking us like, oh my God, is that going to make...
You seem a little upset, like a little butthurt.
Oh, I'm pissed. No. We talk, like, people always ask us all the time, like, isn't that going to make your whole living dynamic now weird this year? Like, are you guys not going to be able to, how's that all going to work? And I'm like, no, we're still going to hang out with each other. You know what I mean? We're just not going to live with each other.
You don't know that. You don't know.
We don't know.
You never know.
But senior year, I mean, we already signed a 10-person house lease. So, I mean, we're going to be coming back, my other roommate, for senior year already. So there's a big difference between living with people and being friends
Yeah.
with people. And I think honestly, after us not living with each other and sleeping 6 feet apart from each other for another year, our relationship will honestly probably become better than that. It sounds like weird to say, but I do think it will help, just because we're living in each other's shit for the last
Ken,
years.
Sounds like you're implying something. Do you need to get something off your chest? Are you coming out here? Or?
What do you mean implying? Coming out? Like,
he has come out before.
Oh, really?
He has.
I've came out and I came back in. No, I'm a straight.
I'm sure you heard the rumors of Kent coming out of the closet in high school.
In high school,
have you heard about this yet?
I took advantage of going to college and starting fresh. I took full advantage of going to school and starting over and getting all that, and keeping it in the past.
So I guess we'll go back to the breakup situation. What are your besides reading, crying in bed?
What you should do, those are the don'ts. One of those is a don't, is crying.
Don't summarize the don'ts. I know it's hard for a lot of people through relationships, and it's easy to fall into a lot of traps. What would you say are easy things to kind of guilt yourself into that you would try to want to avoid after whatever happens? And I also think to even look at it as not making such a big deal about it. As of right now, I think we're all 20 years old, or Andy's 19 and me and TJ are 20. I mean, you pull out that tape measurer, you know what I mean, and go 100 years, and then you look how long 20 years is in your whole life. You got your whole life ahead of you, you know what I mean? You're so much, people like to overlook relationships and make huge deals about them, which is important, I feel like, at this age. But even, looking at my parents. Granted, they're not together, but they met each other when they were, I think, 35 or 37 years old. You know what I mean? And they didn't even know they existed.
Made two perfect children and one mistake.
Which one's the mistake out of us three?
I think he's on the podcast.
Yeah, I believe so.
You know what?
Anyway, back to the do's and the don'ts.
Yes.
Don't contact that person.
I agree.
She's gone.
I agree with that.
The person you had in your head, she's not there anymore.
I've made that mistake a few times.
You have to remain silent, and if that person contacts you, ignore them. Unless it's life or death, of course. But you have to ignore them. You have to reestablish your thoughts, and you have to get control of your mind. Yeah. Maybe down the road, if you want to see her and go grab a drink, yeah, sure, go catch up for a coffee. But until you better yourself, until you regain the control of your thoughts, you should not contact that person until you do that.
It's interesting you're saying that. So when you're saying, originally you should not really contact that person, focus on yourself, drive home all your thoughts, truly, I guess, become satisfied, become happy with yourself again, in your own mental thoughts again. And then you brought up how maybe later down the road, do you think there's an idea of an exact date? 2 years afterwards, then you can start doing it again? Or is it more just kind of up in your mind of
I can't really think that way. I feel like you kind of just have to let it do its thing.
Right.
Yeah. God has a plan for all of us, and he removes and he'll put people back in our lives, and I truly believe that. I think that if one of my ex-girlfriends were to come back in my life, 5, 10 years, however long, maybe that's a sign, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's one ex came back into my life, 2 of my exes came back into my life this year, and both left me. So there you go.
Yeah.
Just to reassure me that they're not meant to be for now.
I think second chances are tough because they could go good for so long and then you just never know. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have a second chance at something and it never works out. I feel like I rarely hear of a second chance ever working out.
It is tough.
Take that from me. Freshman year, I met this girl, great person. Hit it off. We went off to 4 days before we left. We decided to make it work for college, even though we weren't dating and I haven't asked her out yet. Decided to go be stupid, meet a couple other girls. Got caught. didn't talk for 8 months. Next summer, we got back together. We were dating exclusively, and then it didn't end well again.
Yeah, it is tough. I know. I feel like when we're so young, it's easy to look into a lot of like, oh, this is. I think it's a big battle that people have is like with it regards of like having second chances. We're completely breaking free of like people arguing, oh, what should you do versus like what you want to do. And I feel like that's a big thing people have trouble balancing of like what they actually want to do, because it's interesting looking at a relationship. Why should you not try to make something work with someone just because people say, oh, you know what I mean? You got to go for that if you guys both have genuine feelings for each other. But also in the other way, you know what I mean? It's all interesting.
Dating nowadays is weird though.
You can't.
It's impossible.
It's so messed up.
Your first
I'd say the biggest
college, it's impossible to find anyone that actually wants to like date. It's everyone just like, all right, what guy am I getting with this weekend? What guy am I getting with this weekend? You know?
Yeah, I think I forgot what I was gonna say, but it's like fuck. No, never mind.
Smart. Well, like,
Thank you. Really good point.
It's like, I feel like everyone tries to also find someone on like some sort of like dating app. Well, what are your guys' thoughts on those?
I think they're stupid.
I feel like I've never heard of one that works.
It's trouble. Oh, I wouldn't say I haven't seen any that work, but I feel like the narrative around a lot of them have changed from it's turning away from, oh, I'm going on a dating website to find
an actual date.
Find the next.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel this is another thought I wanted to bring up. What do you think about, let's say the girl dumps the guy, and the guy goes out and he gets with every girl he can for as long as he possibly can until he's ready to settle down again. I feel like there's a very few percentage that don't come back and regain their thoughts. They just try to fill that Band-Aid.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, you kind of just mean like move on right away, kind of.
Yeah, fill that empty void.
I feel like that's...
They're only...
Go ahead, sorry.
I feel like every womanizer, every player, every guy juggling broads at different times is only doing so out of fear. Fear of getting their heart broken, because they made a vow to themselves. After they got dumped, they made a vow to never give it up again, to never give themselves up to another girl. I feel like every guy has that story. Whether what happened, they went off to college, it didn't work out. They hoe around because they want to fill that empty void, and they're afraid to give their heart back to somebody.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Well, I think that honestly, I agree between guys and girls. Like,
I agree that that's what a lot of people are kind of stuck in that mindset of not really forcing, but like going out and doing all these things essentially to feel. I don't want to say feel involved, feel company, feel like they mean something by going around and doing all this stuff with other people. But it's tough. That's what I was gonna say. I guess this is kind of like rewinding, just like looking at relationships that work with like going back to each other and not. It's like the biggest thing is no two relationships are the same, and no two relationships will ever be the same. People always try to compare situations. Well, hey, look, these people made it work, and these people tried making it work 14 times, and they're still running around in circles. But no single relationship is ever the same. No one person's story is the same as someone else's. There can be kind of small similarities, but I feel like overall, every single person, every single human being is different. So how can someone have the same relationship, be in the same situation as someone else? It can be similar, but I think every single relationship has its own uniqueness to it that they gotta overcome and get
I also
through.
feel like there's like not a lot of like self-thinking, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like a lot of people get too much influence from other people and don't think about what they really want. And I hate that. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve with people. I'll hear people are like, yeah, I'm not getting together with this person because my friends told me not to. Like, I cannot stand that. You know?
And even thinking, looking at like the most simplest like ways of looking at it is like if you are in like an argument or in a tough situation with any relationship, your friend, your parent, a loved one, and it's like you start going up to people like, hey, what should I say? You know what I mean? Like I'm fucked. Like what should I say? And it's like I understand maybe kind of leading you in the right direction, like apologizing or like confronting them. But when you start to tell people exactly what to say, it's like okay, well that's not you. You know what I mean? You're not. That's not going to help the situation if I'm in shit with my parents and then I have Andy telling me what to tell my parents. Okay, now it's a relationship between Andy and my mom. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's tough.
Young love.
It will get you.
It will put you in a blender and it will stay on, not forever, for about 14 hours. It's kind of rough. That was a really bad reference to... what movie is that? The two pennies in the bottom of the blender, and they go.
Oh, The Internship.
The Internship. It only lasts for about 16 hours, and then they're going to shut up. And then
I feel like
but
going to college, like being with someone, is so glorified too. If that makes sense. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to college. You're going to find the love of your life there." And I think that puts everyone in the mindset like you're going to jump right in and be like, "All right, you're going to be there the first month I'm there." I feel like that's where so many people go wrong and start like just giving up. If that makes sense.
There's a quote out there. You don't go to college to find your wife. You go to college to find your groomsmen.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's something that I needed to realize. The love of your life, whether if it's a guy or a girl, for anybody out there, it will find you. And I truly believe that. You don't need to force anything. If you're lonely, hang out with your friends. Talk to your parents. Get involved. You're not alone in any of it.
And so I think that's a great point. Don't force it. Can't force a relationship. Can't force any relationship. Then it's not a relationship at all. When the shoe fits, the shoe fits. If it's meant to be, it's going to come back. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen naturally. You know what I mean? You can't force anything. And what most people, I remember like my parents and grandparents always say, you know what I mean? You're going to find that one when you least expect it. You know what I mean? You're not going to find it when you're going out at night on a weekend being like, man, I'm finding her this tonight. Tonight's the night. I feel it in the air and I'm going to find her.
That's also like one of the hardest things to trust though. Like I know in my case, whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, yeah, but you don't know that. It's like, it's so hard for me to like believe that like, phrase, I guess. I don't know if that's just me, but like
the phrase that it's gonna happen when you least expect it.
Like I don't know, I'm just like one of those people that's like it's impossible for me to like just believe someone.
Put your hands in. You can be religious, not be religious. I'm not gonna come out here and say I'm very religious, but God's got a plan, or the universe has got a plan for you. You know what I mean? The man upstairs, the universe, whoever's got a plan for you, and you gotta trust the process. You know what I mean? Good things are going to happen if you trust it, can't force it. Use everything as a learning opportunity. I think that's the biggest thing. You're going to make mistakes in your life. You're going to make a lot of mistakes in your life. But one who makes a mistake, one who makes a second mistake, one who doesn't learn from his first mistake made a second mistake, Aristotle. And I actually love that quote very much. There's a silver lining. And I think so much that happens in your life, in relationships, in your work, in your personal life, every single day to day, and you just got to learn from the mistakes, grow, and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Trust the process. Good things are going to happen, and you're going to make it. Everyone's. Look at us. We've all had shitty days. We've all had days where we felt like we're not going to make it. Well, guess what? We're here. We're all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. We're all killing it. You know,
the sun keeps shining every day.
Yeah, right.
Sun's going to come tomorrow. Sun's going to come tomorrow, and it's time to go to work. Put your nose to the grindstone and get after it.
Now, Mike, you said you, or TJ, I don't know. Do you care if I call you Mike? Whatever. Does it matter?
TJ. I prefer Mike, but I'll just go with
both.
He put TJ on the screen. He did put TJ on the screen.
Now, I know Kent did a little bit of distance, but did you do distance like in a relationship at all?
I did.
Thoughts on that?
I did, and I will forever tell my kids, my nephews, whoever, if you do not do long distance, just don't. Freshman year, you are finding your way, you are navigating your way through life. Don't. If it's meant to be, break up, take a break. You can still see each other over the weekends, like over breaks, but you need to be on your own, entering into college and into your 20s. And I thought I got dumped a day after my birthday this year. And, yeah.
Fucking bad.
Yep, a day after my birthday, after she came and visited. And
roller coaster of emotions. Great weekend, birthday.
Got it. Well, I destroyed her morals somehow. I don't know how I do that, but I did. Off the record.
It's on the record now.
Well, let's hope she doesn't see it. Anyway, I read a quote that you need to be alone entering into your 20s. You have to be. You have to navigate your way. Because I feel like freshman year in college, it's kind of a dip your toes in the water, get used to what's going to be coming. And then sophomore year, it's kind of, I feel like that's the big step in college. I think that we can all agree on that this year's been a lot harder than last year. And I think it just gets you prepared for the real world. And you need to be alone. I feel it's okay to be alone. You have to be alone in order to find your way through life. I think you need to be alone at some point.
I agree.
With yourself.
Can't love anyone else until you love
I know
yourself.
my mom sent me this video, and it was like the guy that plays Dwight from The Office, and he's talking about his 20s, and he's like, you don't need to have it figured out. Like, your 20s, you try a million different careers, you try so-and-so, you're with a million different people. Like, that one for whatever clicked with me. The Dwight Schrute.
That's so fun. You know, I was talking to Joey, whenever I was talking to him, and he said he was hanging out with Doug Dyer, whatever night. It was some night they were hanging out, having a good time with each other, and he said Doug started going on his life lessons.
Yeah, that was at my house.
What you should do. Yeah, and he said the whole time Doug was saying you can't fuck up your 20s. You know what I mean? It's such a learning experience, and as long as you learn from all this shit that happens in your 20s, you're going to come out the end, and you're going to be fine. You're going to make it. Well, maybe once you hit your 30s, that's when it starts to panicking a little bit. But you got 11 years. I got 10 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a.
I'm just trying to make it to February 22nd tomorrow. That's my goal. Every day.
Preach.
Just try, one day at a time, brick by brick. Oh man. Yeah.
But to sum it up, don't do long distance. I don't care how long you've been dating the person for. Do not. Unless you go both to the local community college in your town, whatever. But long distance, if it's more than 4 hours, even an hour, it's not worth it.
What do you think, Ken?
I think it's tough. I don't think it makes sense to pull the plug because it's long distance. I think if you can make it through long distance and you learn a lot through the process of being forced to be away from each other for a long period of time, and if you can make it through that, you can make it through a lot. But you can definitely learn a lot through long distance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily agree that don't do it. It's obviously harder and changes the dynamic. However, I think it doesn't make sense to not, try to make it work.
It makes perfect sense not to do it. I'm going to have to disagree. Agree to disagree on that one, Mr. Petrus.
Yeah, but everyone has a different experience from what I've heard. I know friends that are 7 hours apart and it doesn't work, and then they want it to work. It just sounds like everyone has a different experience. It's a real test of the love, I guess.
And that's the thing. Everyone has a different experience, and everybody's relationship will be different. That's the biggest thing. No two relationships are the same. You know what I mean? There's people that are older that are making long distance work where they're not seeing the other person for years on end, where they're getting deployed in the military out of the country, and they still make it perfectly work. And there's some people who don't live with each other and they're an hour away and see each other every single weekend still, and that work. You know what I mean?
Everyone's different.
Nothing. You can't compare. Stop comparing yourself, your relationships. It's you against you. Go look in that mirror every single morning, and that's your biggest enemy. That's who you got to overcome each day. You know what I mean?
Mirror of accountability. Mirror to hold you accountable in life.
Absolutely. Pulling a lot from that book, and I love that book. You can read it next. Me and TJ both read Can't Hurt Me. It's a good book. Great book. Crazy story of David Goggins' life and everything he's gone through and what he overcame and where and how he got where he is today and the shit he had to get through. It's an eye-opener.
I guess
it definitely changed the dynamic of myself and TJ's life. I think if you look at both of us, and I think I can confidently say this on behalf of both of us, if you look at both of us before and after reading that book, could be small, could be large, but we picked up some good things, and we're carrying that with us in our little cookie jar with us every single day.
This is a bit off topic, but I need to know this. Does Kent actually run every day?
He does.
Wow.
I do.
Tuesday and Thursday. I go to the gym every day. And he runs Tuesday, Thursday.
Wow. I thought it was a lie. Kent, I'll give you your credit.
This was today. Dan Durazio gave me kudos for my run. What is it? 3.32 miles. I'm reading this backwards.
I can't see. It's a little blurry. Just read it normally.
3.3 miles, about 387 feet of elevation in 27 minutes and 38 seconds. That's just like under an 8-minute pace.
You guys have like parks
just
around you guys that you can run through or no?
Cemeteries.
It's a cemetery. It's all hills. It's all hills. The entire thing is a hill.
It's good to run around the cemetery.
Listening to make real good friends with the whole service department at the cemetery. So that's the old guy who opens the gate every single morning. It's fun. Listening to Rocky the what's that damn song? No.
Training music. It's gonna fly now.
I listen to that.
No, not
then what
that
are you talking about?
What
There's no other Rocky music, is there?
No, I don't know what it is.
Look up Gonna Fly Now.
Is it Rocky?
It's the one with like it's the song played with like Apollo, like round 14. The one David Goggins listens to.
I mean the one when he's running up the stairs and like he gets to the top, he's like, yeah.
No, that's not like.
There's two different music.
There's different soundtracks for each scene.
I gotta look this up because wait, his first fight with Apollo or his second fight with Apollo?
Going the distance. This is incredible. Like whenever I'm pushing myself during my run, I repeat this.
Yeah.
Love it. It's a beautiful piece of art, beautiful piece of
that one
as well. Could have put that, considering to put it on my top 5 list of best songs. Speaking of which, 2 of us participated in the top songs of our personal selves and semifinals. There's one host that is on top by a landslide. I wouldn't say landslide, it's a tight race, but with a comeback story in the voting booth. And people started voting, votes started coming in, and they started going to the right side, the person who they thought was the most musically inclined, and that is one.
I like to consider myself an honest man, and I don't like to force people into voting for me.
I did not force,
but Kent.
I could send you proof, Andy, of the forcing he did to make him vote.
Because it was strange that like 20 Dayton students out of nowhere viewed our stories and voted for Kent.
I just told people you should go vote on whose music they like the most on my story.
Between you and Kanye here.
God, don't compare me to that son of a bitch. Don't you dare. Oh, right here. This is the best part of the song.
If you're wearing headphones, I'm sorry. That's how 92.3 opens their show. That's what 92.3 The Fan opens their show with. You listen to them in the morning?
92.3 The Fan?
They open. One of their shows opens with that song. Yeah, my dad,
Andy, right here, he goes, can you guys vote for myself on this Instagram story, please? I have proof.
Petrus exposed.
You can't read that. That's all blurry.
It'll come up good when it's in fine quality. But you heard it here.
Trouble in Paris.
Liar, dictator.
manipulator.
I'm just trying to push the podcast, get as much viewers on the show,
it is
get as
insane
much.
how bad this podcast is doing.
Every single week, we have a group chat of our Sunday Funday guests, and we're like texting quotes of what we liked in the podcast, of like that was the funniest thing, like how we all say like, yeah, we probably watched it 3 times thinking it's the funniest thing in the world, and then we look at the total views and listeners,
Like 4.
and it's like 4, just us, and maybe
the
our mom and
Instagram
dad.
does well.
I'm pushing
Yeah,
it. I'm getting clicks.
You guys are both in a frat together, right?
Yes.
PS1.
Is it like a business?
PSC.
PS1.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a frat for sales.
I think it's a great experience. I mean, I know a lot of people shit on sales. It's like, oh, sales. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, anyone can sell anything. But I know in our fraternity especially, I think there's a lot of good information in there. We have a lot of sponsors who come in and talk to the students about their company, where they work for today, how they got there, their journey, where they started from, how they got there, and their personal life as well, and what the company does overall. And I think it's really good information about just them talking professionally of where they got, and it gives students opportunities to ask them questions and really find out exactly what they want to do, and just have the option of just getting exposed to as much professional atmosphere as we can. I know the biggest thing, that's with our sponsors coming in, but I think the biggest thing that our fraternity does is there's sales competitions and sales calls and mock interviews we can perform in. And personally, I'm not all gun-ho on going into sales, but I do participate and try to participate as much as I can in the sales competitions, just because with those sales competitions, it's a real true sales call, the same thing you would do in the real world with real professionals who've been working in that industry for 20 or however many years. And it's really good just professional experience, getting put in an uncomfortable situation and having to dig your way out of it. I think it's a really beneficial and really good experience to go through, as well as interviews that they perform. Like there's interviews for internships in actual I get starter jobs. I can't think of the other one. Like the first jobs out of college that I like performing into, just because any interview experience is good experience. It's going to be something that any of us will have to do for any job that we get in the future. Hopefully a good, high-paying, enjoyable job, and it's just a great experience. Just putting yourself more out there, getting the reps.
Now that you're done with that ramble, you can ask. We're gonna ask Big Mike his top songs. We'll get him.
Are we doing songs or movies?
This week's draft was songs, so we might as well ask him his song.
But didn't we ask Mikey?
Well, that was the draft that week.
Okay, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, this is big. I remember me, TJ were spitting songs with each other, spitting them at each other to see what they like and don't like.
You got 7 picks. You got 7 minutes to do it.
I do have to go soon. I do have sales chapter, new product training.
Well, we got 7 minutes.
7 minutes, top 7 songs. I gotta go number 1, Mr. Brightside.
Mr. Brightside, the Michigan Classic.
Saw him live with one of these young, good-looking gentlemen in this room
Not
with
me.
me.
I see what you did there.
Oh.
TJ.
See, it's tough.
Iris is another. I gotta go with Iris number 2.
Number 2.
Is that like the Chicago Bulls? That could be very wrong.
What?
What's Iris?
Ken, are you thinking of their intro song? The do 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 do.
Yeah,
No, that's
like
that's
the 80s or 90s Bulls with Jordan, Pippen.
No, that's not it.
I realize I'm wrong. A lot of commotion going around you, TJ, with the ambulance.
Number 3, I go. Can't Help Fall in Love with You by Elvis Presley.
Wise men say.
What was that, number 3? Number 4, I gotta go with probably SOB by Nathaniel Radcliffe and the Night Sweats.
Strong list. So
That's
far.
a good
strong list. See, it's tough. It's tough.
There's so many good
You
options.
don't want to
here.
like forget one. Like that's the hard.
I know. Probably had to go Vivi La Vida by Coldplay. That it's a good anthem song. Is that
That's
number 5? Probably Great Balls of Fire for number 6.
I've never heard that one.
From Top Gun.
Oh, really?
Top Gun, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Top Gun. I
Yeah.
didn't know that was the name.
Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, okay.
That's a good
And
song.
then
Coldplay as well.
a classic one I think is Johnny Be Good
Okay.
by Marty McFly, Back to the Future.
That's a solid list. Yeah, we'll
That
throw
is a
that
good
up.
list.
Throw that up on the gram.
That's really good. That's good stuff.
Well, we got some good love advice in this episode.
From the
Yeah,
Breakup,
Breakup
King.
King.
One and only. No, you killed it. Absolutely killed it. It was my
second
pleasure
best ever.
having you on the show.
Andy, COVID survivor, God bless, thank you.
God
Kinda
bless.
Take it easy, man. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
around.
Rock and roll.
All right.
Hey, peace and love. Appreciate
Yep.
everything.